Right, this is episode 2 of Saving Emily. I forgot to mention this is a 158cc engine. Briggs 500 means it has 5 foot-pounds of gross torque. This is some of the nastiness up around the carburetor and the tank. So let me set the phone down and we'll resume. I'm sorry I ended the other one so abruptly, but I ran out of storage on my phone, so it ended whether I liked it or not. So let's see if we can continue now. I'm sort of wanting to take this rewinder off to see what might be making that noise. Kind of a clunk, clunk, scrape, scrape kind of thing. So let me get my 3/8 and a ratchet and an extension. Where are you? Where are you? Let's see. Okay, there's my 3/8. Use a little converter this way. Give me some reach. I'm going underneath. Let me get this one off first. Okay. This one. Let's get them started. By the way, I checked the oil on this mower, and it is, like so many of them, it's over full, really by a lot, so that's never good. We'll have to get that out. And the oil was really dirty, so we'll address that as well. I'm going to use my rotary on this thing to get it off. There's 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. Let me back off in case there's a mouse or something weird under here. Doesn't look too bad. Checking for spiders. Don't see any black widows in there, so that's good. We'll just let that hang there. I'm going to turn this wheel, see if I can figure out what's making the noise. There it is, whatever it is. Must be something underneath. Get this little screw out here because I'm going to lose that. I'm going to screw it back into the kill switch area. Turn these upside down and they get lost. Put that in a few times. Now, let's see what's going on under here. Okay, it's okay. The blade may be bent. It is hitting right there. That it's really flush. Let me see if it hits on this side too. No, it doesn't. So this blade may be bent. And rather than try and start it with that thing on there, let's get that blade off. You guys are probably familiar with my method now. Little C-clamp here on the top, since it's going to go this way. Get a big old breaker bar, 5/8 socket. That's it. Okay. Put that on there. At least get it started with this breaker bore. There we go. That's not too bad. Good. See if I can turn it down. Yep. Okay. So now I can use a regular ratchet on this and get it off the rest of the way without having to make those big arm movements. Use the fingers now. This one, like the last one I worked on, does have the drain plug underneath, which I love, because then you can get all that nasty stuff out of there without having to tip the mower under and on its side and wonder if you've got everything out. So let me look at this blade real quick. Okay. One of the things I do is try to get it flat. Doesn't look too bad, really, but something's not right about it. So let's see if we can at least get another blade on there that we can test it with. This is not a 22-inch blade, it's a 21-inch blade. At least we can check it out. This. Okay, you always want the lift portion going up. You want the cutting edge thrown towards that opening. So get this started. Hold it in place with your index finger and thumb. At least finger tight. Okay, now we can put our little clamp on. And this time it's going to come underneath because we're going to be coming the other way. Pretty snug. Doesn't have to be super snug. But by the way, that wheel's going to have to be changed out or fixed in some way. But got that on there. So let's put some foot pounds on here now. Felt about right. I've done enough of these where I think that'll be about what it needs. Now, I'm looking at this blade to see if it matches both sides. See, I've got the width of my index finger between the blade tip and that lip is the same there. So this blade is probably bent. So I'll have to check that out some more, but let's get it out of the way for now. I'm going to take this around a couple of times and listen. Make Make sure I've still got that on the target here. Listen for that scraping, see if we got rid of it. Yeah, so it's gone. And that thing's got good compression. I love that. Let's set this down now. Don't really want to mess with that wheel right now. Later. I'm going to check this primer bulb. It's got a little flexibility. It's pretty stiff. Let's see if there's any fuel in here. Yes. Wasn't called fuel, but there was liquid in there. I'm going to move some of this crud out of the way. All kinds of seeds and material in here. And of course, the goal here is to get this mower to the point that I can test it and see if it is going to run smooth without smoking or vibrating or being unpleasant to use. I've got to get this tank off now. There's no way that can stay on there without being cleaned out. So let's try this. And I sure wish I had that 1/4 inch extension, but I'm not seeing it right now. I'm going to use this big one. So where did you go? There you go. So we're going to put our half on the end of this. It doesn't really slip in there very easily. So we got my half on there. Okay, got that started. And this one, of course, is the 3/8. Get this one started. That's a 5/16. 3/8. Okay, I think they got it moving. Yep. Now we can use the drill on this thing, get it out a little quicker. All right, let's get the big half out of there. This is that little spacer. Don't ever lose that, and don't ever try and put the tank on without that spacer on there. Break the tank. Well, I'm going to see if I can get this tank off of here. This actually looks pretty good condition-wise. Let me show you some of the things I'm going to change here. So now it's really mushed around. All right, so this is what the carburetor looks like right now. And what's out of position is this piece right here. And obviously the little carb spring is not attached to anything. So first I'm going to see if I can get this thing out, and you guys can see that. So this is going to come up, and it has to go down. Let's see, I don't know if I can do that and show it on the camera, but this has to go down under that little piece with the big hole in the end. So let me see if I can do that. And I can't do it with one hand. I'll put the camera down. Hang on a second. All right, I got to hold the other side while I do that. Like this. Like this. Let's see if I can get it to swing around a little bit. There we go. Okay, now I think I can show you what I'm having to do. And so, see this, I've got this little tab now. It was laying on top of that. Now these things are designed so that you can turn this down all the way, bend it. It's bendable, turn it all the way down. And what that does, this locks this adjustment into place. I want it all the way over. I'm gonna turn this down and also push it towards that way. And then this is, see, this is not gonna move. Because really, I don't want to adjust the speed of this at all by that. It's going to be either running at the correct RPMs, or it's going to be off. In other words, you shut it off. And of course, this controls the throttle. When that spring is attached, I'll have to look at that, see if it's too damaged or not. But that's what's going on with this carburetor. But I wanted to go ahead and show you that. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish taking the tank off. There we go. So what you do with this is you just kind of wiggle it around, because it's sitting up against that manifold with a little gasket and a clip that holds it in. It holds the gasket in place. So it's just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle while you're pulling towards yourself. I'm also watching for movement in that manifold, see if it needs to be tightened. Okay, it's starting to come off now. Wiggle, wiggle, there we go. Okay, now I've got it here, so I grab that little metal piece there, that linkage, and then I make the turn down and out, and that pops it off. And now I can take this off. That was in the wrong place anyway. Let me put it back over here where it belongs, which is right through that center piece. I'm not sure why that's even that way. It doesn't look right, but anyway, see if I can get that back in there, because I at least want it to stay in place sort of until I can come back to it. There you. Nope. Now let me just take this piece out, okay? So I'm taking this piece out, and I'm going to connect that carb spring through that big loop right there, and then put it back where it belongs. So that back in place, and yeah, he's got this spring attached to the wrong hole. I'll show you here. This is under way too much tension. See, that is just way too stiff. And that's because he's got the spring attached. Let me sit where I can point with. He's gone under where it attached and attached this tiny little hole there. So that's a mistake, and that's why it's under so much tension. So the spring's gonna come off. I'm gonna put it right in that little gap right there. That's where that loop goes, the big one. Okay, let me set the phone down. Get that spring in the right place. Always interesting to see what people do with these mowers. You know, they monkey around with carburetor linkage like it's nothing. You think it's gonna run right, well it's not. Okay, so now I'm going to try and reshape the end of this so it sort of resembles what it used to look like, and try and put it where it belongs. Flatten this out a little bit if I can. Okay, that might actually work. Let's see if that's going to go on there. Okay, I'm going to take it loose from that end. So we're going to go here. Okay, yeah, that's popped into place. Now I'm going to try and get this to pop into place. And that is, see, that's loose. That's what you want. Let me show you. This is under just a little spring tension, not a lot. And it's missing the little silver spring that goes from that point to the loop. There's two springs, this one and this one, that controls the speed, the RPMs. And they'll run okay without that little spring, but it's nice to have it, especially if you want to do fine adjustments. But for now, we're going to go with what we've got, which is that big spring. So you've got our tank off. Let me see what kind of liquid's in here. It's like this watery sludge. So I'm going to pour that out. Hang on 1 second. Okay guys, I'm back. It was mostly water that was in that tank, so I rinsed it out with water to try and get the rusty water out. And I think we're going to take a pause now. I'm going to try and clean this whole situation up, and we'll come back and install the tank and maybe do a few other things, and hopefully we'll be able to pull the cord on this thing before too long. Especially now that I've got that blade where it's not striking the deck. All right, please send me your comments. I appreciate all the views and subscriptions, and it'd be so much fun if we got to interact with each other, where you ask me why I'm doing things a certain way, or things that you've run into on mowers that you've figured out in situations like this. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you, and stay tuned.